Good morning, SKN. I'm Jamie Morris.
And I am Cortensia Carty, and welcome to our program this morning. For those of you joining us in St. Martin, in Trinidad, in the diaspora, everywhere around the world, welcome to Good Morning SKN. As we start off this morning with the local news, our first story comes from SKNIS. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, will host its annual Carib Wave Tsunami Exercise today, Thursday, March 23rd, 2023. The purpose of the Carib Wave Tsunami Exercise is to test the Federation's preparedness and response protocols, such as emergency communications and evacuation procedures. The NEMA is thereby calling on all of us to build resilience against coastal hazards and promote tsunami readiness at all levels of society. A debriefing for the exercise will take place at the NEMA headquarters. All persons in the play area and its surroundings are invited to join the wave, to be part of the wave and participate in Carib Wave 2023. Partial evacuations will be done at the Newtown Playing Field, Independence Square, and Greenlands Park. Alerts will be broadcast through radio stations by interrupting their regular programming, by SMS messages, and through Emergency Response Agency. The concept of the tsunami preparedness is once you receive a warning, you head to higher ground.
This is so very interesting because Bastille literally means low terrain. So You have to head out of Bastille.
Run.
At least in the practice, you probably don't have.
Yeah.
All right, continuing with this news from Win Media SKN. In this era of environmental awareness and advocacy to fight against reliance on the negative contributing factors of climate change, for example, fossil fuels and single-use plastics, where do we stand on advocacy for the protection of forests? According to the United Nations, the link between healthy forests and healthy people goes unnoticed. When we drink a glass of water, write in a notebook, take medicine for a fever, or build a house, we do not always make the connection with forests, and yet these and many other aspects of our lives are linked to forests somehow. Thus, the theme for International Day of Forests 2023 is Forests and Health. Forests play a crucial role in poverty alleviation, one of the Sustainable Development Goals. Still, despite all the priceless ecological, economic, social, and health benefits, forests are endangered by fires, pests, droughts, and unprecedented deforestation. Forest sustainable management and the use of resources are vital to combating climate change and contributing to the prosperity and well-being of current and future generations. That's so true. Forests, very important as we see it impacts so many aspects of our lives.
And as we see, most of our oxygen to come from the forest. Yeah, we got to protect it.
Plant a tree.
Yeah. We continue now. This from SKNIS. The Small Business Development Center within the Ministry of Small Business and Entrepreneurship hosted the second in a series of customer training workshops for small business owners on Tuesday, March 21st, 2023 at the Kuna Conference Center. Permanent Secretary of Small Business Dalrine Taylor welcomed the participants and added that the ministry will continue to ensure that small business owners receive the necessary technical support needed to grow their business. P.S. Taylor said, and quote, "We want to be more active in terms of delivering workshops so that you can be more well-informed about what is happening in areas where you can develop small business, because it is our mission to transform the micro, small, and medium-sized sector within St. Kitts and Nevis through entrepreneurship and economic value creation. By doing that, we want to be able to help entrepreneurs to be more self-reliant, financially literate, and more resilient," end quote. Ms. Taylor said that a total of 78 participants registered for the workshop, which was centered on grant readiness.
All right, very interesting. Moving on to a check of our local weather. It will be partly cloudy with a high of 81 and a low of 72 degrees Fahrenheit, currently 79 degrees. Take a look at your forecast as we head to a break. More GMSKN in a moment.
Cheers.
An exotic experience.
Greetings, my lovely people. I'm Chantel, residing in Taiwan. 12 hours time difference. It's nighttime here, morning time in SK. I'm busy and on the go. However, I always manage to keep up to date with what's happening in SK. All thanks to Good Morning SKN. Good morning SKN. Ciao, bango!
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. We continue with the latest in regional news. This from Antigua Newsroom. Antigua Cruise Port has once again hosted 6 vessels simultaneously. Seabourn Quest, Aida Diva, Morella Discovery, Costa Pacifica, and Celebrity Millennium docked in St. John's, while Royal Clipper was anchored at the Falmouth Harbor. The cruise port welcomed passengers and crew members totaling 10,911. ACP General Manager Donna Regis Prosper said, quote, "We are happy to see this growth in the sector. The rebound of the cruise tourism is being felt by industry stakeholders," end quote, rather. She said the benefits are both economic and social. Old Road Primary School grades 5 and 6 students and their principal, Ryona Joseph, toured Aida Diva. Grade 6 student Anthony Edwards said, quote, "It was like I was a tourist coming from a different country to Antigua," end quote. The students got to learn a few words in German and facts about the ship. The principal said of the initiative, quote, "I do hope that this will continue," end quote. And it would have been really cool if she said that in German.
Yeah.
Maybe next time.
Next time, yeah. She'll practice. On the international scene, this from the Good News Network. Researchers have been able to use a bacterial enzyme that conducts hydrogen to create electricity. The discovery promised to open up a new field of clean energy. Recent work by the team at Monash Biomedicine Discovery Institute at Monash University, Australia, has shown that many bacteria use hydrogen from the atmosphere as an energy source in nutrient-poor environments. Monash University professor Chris Greenan said, and quote, "We have known for some time that bacteria can use the trace hydrogen in the air as a source of energy to help them grow and survive, including in Antarctic soil, volcanic craters, and deep ocean. But we didn't know how they did this until now," end quote. In their discovery paper published in Nature, the researchers extracted the enzyme responsible for using atmospheric hydrogen from a bacterium called Mycobacterium smegmatis. They showed that this enzyme called HUC turns hydrogen gas into an electrical current. Wow.
This is so cool.
I know.
My inner scientist, of course. I swear I'd be a mad scientist in another life. All right.
All right. Okay, we will wait for that to be seen. Stay tuned, so much more on Good Morning SKN.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
Dreamy Decor specializes in flowers for all events, from birthdays to weddings and any other special occasion. What's a better way to express to the people you love than by providing the finest selection of beautiful flowers and gifts? So when you think of flowers, think of us, Dreamy Decor.
Yo, what up? It's your boy N Richie right here at Studio 327. I'm here to give you the promo that you guys need because this is something special for St. Kitts. I'm telling you, tune in to Good Morning SKN, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on YouTube, Facebook, and on Moment Channel 4. Also, I realize nobody else is doing this. Follow the Good Morning SKN Instagram at Good Morning SKN and the Studio 327 Inc. Instagram. Follow us on YouTube and Facebook. This is pretty long, but follow us and yeah.
Meteorology is the branch of science concerned with the processes and phenomena of the atmosphere, especially as a means of forecasting the weather. Today is internationally recognized as World Meteorological Day, and we are pleased to have the opportunity to speak with Mr. Elmo Burke, Senior Meteorological Officer at the St. Christopher Air and Seaports Authority, or SCASPA. I got stuck on Elmo. All right. All right, it's great to see you again, Elmo. Welcome to Good Morning SKN.
Good morning, guys.
All right. So as we talk about the theme for this year, 2023, the future of weather, climate, and water across generations, what are your comments on this theme?
When you look at the whole theme, it tries to bring together in terms of the evolution of weather, climate, as well as water over the generations. When we're talking about the evolution, we're speaking about the technological advances that we would have had over the years, the organizational structure that we would have improved so that we can manage effectively weather, climate, and water over the years, as well as the competency that the human resources would have brought over the years, because we recognize that meteorology on a whole is a relatively new science. When I say new, compared to, for example, like medicine and those others, it's relatively new. And as such, it keeps evolving. We keep learning more and more about the atmosphere in terms of how we can actually monitor and predict somewhat.
So can you let us know? We had Mr. Cromwell yesterday from the Water Department. He was speaking about water. We're going into drought. We need to conserve our water. How do you measure how much water we will have?
What we do at the Met Office, every 6 hours, we measure the amount of rainfall that we would have received at the Met Office. And that information is shared with our counterparts at the Water Department, because we look at what is collected and they do the management aspect of what we receive here in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Okay.
I'm curious to know how climate change has affected your work in the field or the field in general. What can you tell us?
I would say climate change has given us a bit more gray hair. And the reason I said that, because it has increased the variability of weather and climate across the different time scales. And what we have now realized is what we are used to predicting, we're now having a wider gambit to really monitor. So for example, when you look at rainfall amounts, we're used to a certain total in terms of quantity. However, you're seeing much more variability. You're seeing extreme dryness, extreme wetness, and the gap between those two have widened significantly. And that is just from rainfall. When you now move into storms, once ago, traditionally we are accustomed to the Cat 1, Cat 2s. But what we're now seeing, climate change is now giving us more Cat 4, Cat 5 hurricanes and so forth. So that level of variability, even in terms of tropical cyclone, we are now manifesting here.
Does that affect your ability to predict adequately?
It poses a challenge, but an opportunity for us to learn more. And that's how I look at it.
I love the diplomatic answer.
Yes.
So, Mr. Burke, let's talk about how long you've been working as a meteorologist. And before we started, I asked you how many of you are there.
Currently, there are 7 of us in terms of chain staff at the Met Office, along with 3 trainees. So we have a staff complement of 10 currently at the St. Kitts Met Office. And the other question you
How long have you been working in this
yes.
field?
This year made 19 years.
Ooh,
Yes.
almost to 20.
Yes.
Big celebration next
Yes.
year.
Making 20 years with SCASPA, but 19 years as a Met officer.
So what did you start it out at?
AIS officer.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's awesome. I'm just having flashbacks to. I was
Oh,
going to
you
ask,
days.
Yes, exactly. I was going to ask you how you got into meteorology in the first place.
I would say I stumbled into it. However, at the same time, although I might have stumbled into it, because I have a passion in terms of science, it was an opportunity for me to really delve into utilizing my background in physics and mathematics, because those are my strengths. So meteorology utilizes those 2 areas a lot, especially as you go higher up. So it was an opportunity for me to utilize both the mathematics and the physics.
You're speaking to us again, but Denel was here a while ago. I don't know if you remember when Denel was here and he gave us the graphs to plot, you know, all those things. We see exactly what you're talking about. Yes. That was a fun part, though.
Guys, if you ever felt left out, science, what? Left out.
Host.
So Elmo, how did you get into this field, and can you encourage others to get into the field since we need more meteorologists on St. Kitts?
Well, prior to going into meteorology, I was actually a teacher of mathematics at the CXC level.
Left out again.
Is this where you tell her that we were in UE at the same time as well?
Yes, yes.
Left out again.
You know what I mean? So, because we had the passion for the science in terms of the natural sciences, because I would have done all the sciences. And what we have found over the years, persons who have a good grasp of mathematics and physics, meteorology becomes quite easy for them. Because as you would have indicated, when you had dinner here on the show, he would have showed you some of the mathematics equations. Yes. Because what we're trying to do, we're trying to model the atmosphere in terms of how it's going to respond. So we are using a lot of mathematics and physics equations to the atmosphere.
Still feel left out, but that's okay.
You don't have to be a Met office dude.
No, but the maths and the physics and the science and the joy that their faces have when they speak about it is like, okay, I do not know.
But I would imagine that a lot of that comes because not only is it interesting to you, but in a lot of instances when it comes to drastic weather conditions and so on, you're basically predicting how we should go about our lives.
Yes.
Rainfall, farmers, those sorts of things, you have to adjust how to conserve water. I imagine so. What's one of the most interesting things that you've had to do as part of your job?
Let's see. I would say dealing with Hurricane Irma, Maria, in 2017. It was interesting because if you recall, we would have had those 3 storms approaching us, and all 3 were basically category 4 or 5 in strength within a 2 weeks time frame. So rationing, I would say, the information to the general public, because for you to tell the general public you are expecting 3 category 4 or 5 storms within a 2 weeks period can send persons into panic mode. So managing the information flow to the general public was important. So what I would have done, I would have focused on the most imminent storm and then move on to the other and so forth. And that experience allowed me the opportunity to manage the information, recognizing that it's not just about the science in terms of the natural science, but the social science, understanding how persons are going to relate to the information that you share with them, that makes it's important for us to know how to communicate that information in terms of the risk and the threats.
Okay.
So you see, you're quite included.
You think? So other than the math, the physics, and the social science, what other training and what other subjects would you need to become a meteorologist?
I would encourage persons, especially if you're in, let's say, first and second geography would whet your appetite in terms of meteorology. However, as you move into 3rd, 4th, and 5th form, when you start to really do your CXC subjects, it's encouraged that you do math and physics. because you need that foundation. If you don't have that strong foundation in maths especially, you're going to struggle as you move into meteorology. Because what we have now recognized, even to the basic level of meteorology, we are now introducing a lot more mathematics concepts into the basics. Because we have to now prep, basically, those who are coming into meteorology to become meteorologists.
All right, we'll take a break here, but we'll continue in a moment. More GMSKN on the other side of this break. Yeah.
An exotic experience.
Good morning. This is Karen of Paris and support from Paris, Vermont. I want to encourage y'all to sign on to Good Morning SKN every morning from 8 to 10 at Studio 327. Thanks.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. We are speaking with Elmo Burke, Senior Meteorological Officer at the St. Kitts at St. Christopher. This is a tongue-tying situation this morning. At the St. Christopher Air and Seaports Authorities, Casper. He's now going to be answering some of the most frequently asked questions about meteorology. So what is meteorology?
Meteorology is basically the science studying the atmospheric science. In terms of, because when you're looking at the atmosphere, you want a science that actually studies how the atmosphere responds to itself, as well as the interaction to other sciences and so forth, as well as people. So that science is called meteorology, basically.
And we're not done with the frequently asked questions. We've got others lining up. All right, so here's the second one. How long does it take to become a meteorologist?
To become a meteorologist, it would take 3 years at the degree level. However, if you don't have A-level physics and A-level maths, it would take an additional year because you would have to do that prelim component for the maths and the physics. But basically, it takes about 3 years to become a meteorologist.
So you better enter college with your A-levels.
Yes.
Wow.
What if you don't? It's only 1 year.
If you don't, it's just 1 year.
Precisely, versus 2 years at A-level, right?
It makes sense. Imagine you enter, you finish, you're done, you're gone.
Yeah. Because when you look at the 1 year at the same time could be used as a learning experience, what to expect during your university life.
Alrighty. Okay, so how is the weather forecasted?
The weather is forecast using a lot of models, numerical weather prediction models. So we use those to give us a guidance. However, we use our common sense in terms of what we know the science should be, along with the history in terms of the climatology of the area. So we use all three, come up with a prediction, and then the forecast is just a prediction. What is the probability of these conditions happening at this particular time and place? So that's what we try to do.
You mentioned common sense. You need to explain this to me.
For example, we recognize that all models would have biases. So you have to know the biases of the models and weigh them accordingly. So for example, if a model is suggesting that you're likely to see the place drying out, however, the other models are suggesting that you will see an increase in precipitation or shower activity, and you're already seeing it manifested in terms of underground. Common sense will tell you ignore the other model. Okay. So the level of common sense you have to apply.
Okay, got
All right, weather girl in training.
I'm asking for somebody. See, I am trying to get some more meteorologists for him to work with.
All right, well,
Yeah.
hey, there you are.
Yeah.
We have all the questions. At least another question here. So what is the hardest part about forecasting?
The hardest part about forecasting is recognizing the biases in the various models, because the models are just going to try to capture the dynamics or the mathematics and the physics. So you have to now recognize each model would have biases for different parameters. So you have to recognize all these different biases and apply them collectively to come up with one forecast.
So that comes with training.
Yes, it does.
And you get to do this every day.
Training and experience. Yes,
you get to do this every day.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
All these mathematical terms, I wish I did remember. Parameters. Oh my God. Okay. So, what are some of the most important skills for meteorologists to have, other than common sense?
I would say the soft skills, and this is where you come in now, the way that you communicate the information to the general public, because you have to use relatable language, because it's a science, and too often you find we remain in our scientific realm. But what we are trying to do is come into the public realm, recognizing that putting out this scientific information is good for the science community. However, if you want persons to respond and react to the information that you put out, you have to make it palatable. So the social science aspect now would come in handy, and as well as your communication skills.
So that means Jamie did well when he was broadcasting the weather this morning.
Yes, he did.
Great stuff. Jamie, I'm getting you your props.
You see what I deal with on a daily basis?
I'm ensuring that you broadcasted it the way it should have.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk a bit about what you think the public could do to mitigate against the effects of climate change.
What I think we can do is some basic things. I always tell persons, because we're a small nation, we do not contribute significantly to the greenhouse effect, which causes climate change. But I always say, although we don't contribute significantly, each of us can do a little bit, whether it be changing our culture, changing the way we operate. So for example, I always tell persons, I think you will find some households have 4 persons, 5 cars. That doesn't make no sense. Why not carpool? If 3 of you are working in the general vicinity at the same time, why don't you guys just carpool? Because that will be less greenhouse gases will be emitting into the atmosphere. So some of these basic things we can easily do.
So now is the time. So what would you say to encourage someone who is interested in meteorology and eventually becoming a meteorologist like yourself?
I would tell them dive headfirst into your maths and your physics, because if you really want to understand meteorology, if you really want to advance in meteorology, you're going to really need the maths and physics. However, at the same time, because we are not just remaining pure scientific, I would encourage you to develop your communication skill as well as your social skills, because that would be necessary if you're going to be communicating whatever scientific information, breaking it down from a technical level down to a layman's level. So that social skill you need to develop over time. It took me a while to develop it, but I'm happy that I was able to do that.
Okay. As much as I want to believe that.
Oh, come on. I was going to ask if you're sold now. All right. So, Elma, you're going to look out for her tomorrow when she's reading the weather?
Yes, I will.
Okay, great.
Why you gotta put me on the spot?
Elma, thank you so much for joining us for this edition of GMS SKN.
No problem. Thanks for having me. Yes.
Our pleasure indeed.
Okay.
More Good Morning SKN in a moment, everyone. Stay tuned.
Dreamy Decor specializes in flowers for all events, from birthdays to weddings and any other special occasion. What's a better way to express to the people you love than by providing the finest selection of beautiful flowers and gifts? So when you think of flowers, think of us, Dreamy Decor.
What will it take to grab the attention of someone with the power to make your dream come true? 7 hopeful entrepreneurs in search of the finances necessary to take their ideas to the next level.
This is their lives, right? This is their business.
4 savvy business owners ready to make a pragmatic investment.
You can't help people if you can't help yourself. First, you make the dollar and you give the dollar.
Why you take your business offline?
I really feel that you need to do a little bit more research.
Very knowledgeable. Super knowledgeable.
You have a great idea and a great concept. I think you'd be snapped up by Disney.
If you have a job someplace, it means that if something is not working, you can walk away.
Who will invest?
Let's do this. Let's do this.
Thank you. And who will be sent home with nothing? I am your host, Kevin Hope.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
Greetings, my lovely people. I'm Chantel, residing in Taiwan. 12 hours time difference. It's nighttime here, morning time in SK. I'm busy and on the go. However, I always manage to keep up to date with what's happening in SK. All thanks to Good Morning SKN. Good morning SKN. Ciao bango.
Many parents post stories, photos, and videos of their kids on social media because they're proud of their families and they want to stay connected with relatives and friends. But there has been a recurring trend of parents now choosing to hide their children's faces from social media. What are the reasons? Maybe they don't want people to come and look for their kids? I don't know.
That's pretty much like common sense, right?
Yeah, but maybe the weird person might see them and be like, oh, you're the kid from TV. Oh. Yes, guys, I don't know. I'm just having a moment. Yeah. So what are the reasons for suddenly hiding those cute faces that make us laugh? There's this little girl. Her mom, she has a kitchen that her mom bought for her. And every day her mom goes to the kitchen and she'll be like, what can I get you, ma'am? And she doesn't speak very clearly, right? So there's caption added to her stuff. And then yesterday she served her mom tuna soup. And then she'd be like, yuck. But she's cooking the tuna soup in her, but she's still saying yuck. And then she served her mom potato and she puts the potato in and then she makes the audible sound ding. And then she said, here's your potato, and just throws the potato at her poor mom. Listen, and she charges too, and you don't want to see when her mom comes to order. She has a little menu, so she's ticking off what her mom orders. She's so cute, but every day is, what do you want? What can I get you, ma'am? What can I get you, ma'am? the day her mom wanted her cookie, she'd be like, no, I have an next cookie. She'd go and bring the plastic cookie and give the plastic cookie to her mom.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But her face is shown. But what? I guess with the weird world we live in.
Celebrity kid. Kid. All right, so that's the question. The question is really, why would people decide to hide their children's faces on social media?
Why? Because of the world we live in. Dun, dun, dun.
Well, privacy. That's one. All right, here it is.
So putting pictures and facts about children onto the internet that they don't have any say in is not good. Because we're basically exploiting our kids for entertainment, if that's the way we want to put it.
People pay a lot of money for those famous photos.
Yeah, and then when the kids get out there, then maybe they can get other deals. So maybe that's what the parents would look. The parents might say they're looking out for their well-being. Because there's this little boy, I don't know if you're familiar with him, Samaj. He's from the country in the US. He speaks so sweet. When his mom calls him, he'd be like, yes, ma'am. The other day he told his mom, you're beautiful. Because he's only 2. Beautiful, beautiful. Then he told his grand-grand he has 2 girlfriends. So his grand-grand told him he can't be creeping on the 2 girlfriends. And he'd be like, but Shantara's on the phone. And then next minute he tell his grandmother the other one's on the phone. So his grandmother be like, you're creeping. He'd be like, no, I'm just talking to both of them.
Samaj. Wow.
Samaj Prater.
You are my idol, Samaj. 2 years old.
He's even got 2 jobs at 2 years old. No, 5 jobs at 2 years old. He's a cutie, but he's smart. I just love. He's so mannerable. Everything is thank you, ma'am. No, ma'am. His mother told him something the other day, and he got a little bit upset. And he'd be like, "I'm finna leave you. That's what I'm finna do." But he's the cutest little thing at 2.
Yeah.
He's finna to leave her.
And clearly not Caribbean.
No, America, but he's
from
cute.
Our generation. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I'm finna leave you, mama. That's what I'm finna do.
All right. Nah, it's all good, Samaj. But seriously, yeah, this makes sense because you have no control over what people post if they're posting about your children. So you hide their faces because the next thing you know, the context changes. You never know really what's going to go on there, and once it's posted on the internet, it lives forever.
Forever.
Right? So that makes sense.
Forever.
So the other question, well, the same question, but different answer is why are parents censoring or obscuring their children's faces? Children should be able to curate their own footprint on the internet in the future. So you don't want to take that opportunity away from them by having other people do it for them, parents included, correct? So that makes sense.
Especially if they were one of those kids that spoke funny or, you know, it was cute then. But, you know, people, to me, sometimes they don't have too much empathy or whatever. You're older now, and they'll be like, "Oh, you're that kid from,"
it's
and we
a child. It doesn't matter. Listen, when I was 2 years old, I swear, 2, 3 years old, I could never, for the life of me, say yellow. I heard everybody around me say it. In my head, I knew I said yellow when I formulated the word lello will come out, and I was so frustrated because I thought at the time, but everybody thinks I don't know how to say yellow. And I remember that. I'm like, but I know how to say yellow. I know it's yellow, but it would always come out lello. No, there were no cameras around it.
Is it a little guy thing? Because my nephew says that.
Lello?
Lello. And I'm always AJ, yellow, and lello. And he's trying. I can see he's actually trying, so I hope he doesn't tell me when he gets older. I was frustrated at you for making me say yellow so much.
Because I remember those feelings. I was like, but everybody thinks that I don't know how to say it.
Because he knows. Because I didn't even realize his sister's name is London, and he said Yondon. And I didn't realize, and I'm like, but no, it's London, AJ. So if somebody brought it to my attention, yeah. He's very smart, though. Very smart.
Sure, he knows how to say it. It's just not coming out. He knows what he wants to say.
He will tell you, if you ask him something and he feels that you're asking him something wrong, he will say, Auntie, use your head. And he literally points, and he's very smart.
Whoa, okay, AJ, Samaj and AJ. Whoa, all right.
So, yeah.
You got a third reason, Cortensia.
Yeah, to feel more present in those capturable moments with them. Aww. I still don't understand why they hide in the faces. You need to see the cute kids.
Okay, let's just call it what it is. It's none of your business. That's really what it is.
If you don't want it to be our business, for fast folks like us, don't put them out there because we want to see their faces to be relatable to them. So when we see them as grown up, oh my God, you made my day as a kid. I can't wait to meet that little Samaj boy. Because I just love how he speaks. I love. You're just beautiful, mama. You're beautiful. His dad asked him to borrow $2 until tomorrow. He said, so then wait until tomorrow then. Little boy.
Yeah. All right. So I suppose I should ask parents why they're doing this, because I don't know that parents in our region do this as much, because one, we're not famous like that.
Are you
Two,
sure?
I'm not sure that people do that. I think that people begin to post as early as they can. I don't think that it's a thing to hide. Maybe in large societies, when people, you know, have more to lose, their children included, their privacy also included, they're going to be more cautious about it. But I don't know that it's a thing here, unless we are riding that wave because we see it happening elsewhere and we just think it's trendy, so we do it.
Some people have their kids out there because everybody wants to see their kids are cute, and some of them are asking their kids questions and then they're posting them on TikTok or Instagram or whatever it is locally. I guess everybody's following the trend of international thing. But funny enough, we are speaking about this. You know, I don't see British kids and Canadian kids on these things. Most of these kids are American kids. So it's an American trend, I guess.
Ah, well, hey, who knows?
Who knows?
Don't remind me. I was in the line the other day, and the guy was being attended to by a worker. She referred to him as American, and he's like, "No, I'm Canadian. We don't like being called Americans." I thought I knew that. It was just funny to hear her say it. So when you say that, I thought, okay, maybe the perspective of the Canadians is a little different from the Americans in that case.
Wow.
Oh, come on! You always you don't know that they make fun of the country beneath them, down, you know, below them, below the border.
I never knew it was so serious that, you know. Anyways.
Well,
because I wouldn't want to be called from the next country.
Precisely. Yeah. So at that level, a lot of fun, but yeah, he was joking about it, but I know he was serious. It's like, yeah, we Canadians.
Oh, you Canada.
All right, back to the topic, because we are doing a lot of
See what I said?
today.
Didn't I tell you that?
Really? Yes, you did. Your social media posts might be
Yeah.
used for bullying in the future, and people are actually cautious about that. You don't want somebody to bully, whatever.
No.
I don't know. Are we that
Jamie,
caught up?
yes. Do you see what these kids are doing to themselves these days? Look, the girl that got ganged in school the other day, and I was so upset. I wish I was there. I would have beaten up the bully for her, right? And she goes home and she kills herself. This cannot be the way for these kids, because I don't find how we handle pressure. Like, I was called Olive, I was called Noses, I was called Fine Ants, I was called all these things in school, and Jamie, I'm alive. I didn't take them seriously. I was called knees because I had some really big knees, but what was I supposed to do? But these kids are just not taking it, and then they're killing themselves.
It's I don't know. I think we need to have conversations with children about the way that they respond to certain things, about what unfortunately has become normal in our environments, what they should expect once they leave the safety of their parents' doors at home, right? So it's unfortunate, but I think those conversations need to be had a little earlier. And I also believe that the children are at a place where they understand, you know, what you would say to them about those situations as well, because they're highly intelligent.
They are. Jesus.
So just have those conversations. There are a lot of things that I think that I've heard people say that previous generations have not had conversations with them, you know, that sort of thing. And there was this cloak, I think, concerning parenting and adulthood that we grew up with, and maybe our parents grew up with as well. Certain things were never discussed, certain things were never said. They just kind of happened. You just kind of walked into them or grew into them.
Felt your way around them.
Right?
I swear our parents should have been in the FBI or the CIA. There was secretive folks. Yeah.
Oh, it's just that they just never had those conversations. It's just it was just not a thing, right? But I think that it's becoming important to have those conversations now.
It is. Funny enough, something funny from then cannot be something funny when you get to a certain age, because you're not that age anymore. And some people outgrow those things, including my voice seems to want to be outgrown right now. But people outgrow them things, and I guess they don't want to talk about it anymore, so they feel like you're bullying them. Because look at me joking with Elmo this morning. Like, what did they make fun of you in school? But yeah, make fun of me. I was the most, I swear, the most celebrated, the most serious, the character that still is ongoing. Because I'm in toys, I'm in everything. So as he said, he's like, no, yeah, famous.
Every toy begins with I'm kidding. No.
Now you're going with that fun. You're going with that fun.
Not quite.
So what else do we have?
That's all that we have, basically. So it's important to respect children's privacy, as I said before. So that's important as well.
Don't put them up if they ain't ready. Keep the cute moments until they're at a certain age, and ask their permission to share. They're human beings too. As Jamie said, let us respect their privacy. And because we live in a world where we have some indifferent people, we just have to be cautious about what we put out about our children. Although it may be cute now, it may not be cute when they become older. So with that say, stay cute and come back. More GMSKN in a moment.
Yo, what up? It's your boy and Richie right here at Studio 327. I'm here to give you the promo that you guys need because this is something special for St. Kitts. I'm telling you, tune in to Good Morning SKN, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on YouTube, Facebook, and on Moen Channel 4. Also, I realize nobody else is doing this. Follow the Good Morning SKN Instagram at Good Morning SKN and the Studio 327 Inc. Instagram. Follow us on YouTube and Facebook. This is pretty long, but follow us and yeah.
All right, so welcome back to Good Morning SKN. I don't even want to ask you the question that I'm being prompted to ask you right now. So I'm just going to ask. I'm going to pretend that Hortensia's not here for a second. This is my wall. It's invisible, but hey, it's up. I'm just going to ask you
believe I'm being
directly.
treated this way?
I'm just going to ask you directly. Well, you're talking to them, so why can't I? Do you think that I'm a good listener? Truth is, nobody sets out to be a bad listener, but some of us have some improvements to make in this area. Well, I guess you are confessing.
I always confess. I have confession sessions every day, guys, and I know you know this, man. Yeah.
All right, so we're going to do something fun now. We're going to talk about our experiences with bad listeners. And actually, we're going to invite you to share some of your experiences if you care to, because not everybody cares to. There's a privacy thing that we just discussed. Maybe you don't want to do it. Maybe when you start commenting, the bad listener would know that you're talking about them. But then, hey, if they improve, why not talk about them?
So, Jamie, am I a bad listener?
I'm not answering that question. You confessed, so why do I have to? I'm wrong. I'm a guy.
Because I am asking from your point of view. We co-host every day. Do you think I'm a bad listener? Because maybe you telling me that, maybe I can improve on something. How about that?
All right, so in this particular example, you were waiting for me to answer, but you continue talking. Answer for yourself.
You see, he couldn't come out and plain old says, Patenzi, you're bad at what? You're bad at this.
I'm joking around.
No, tell me the truth. I take it lightly.
Like I said, we are talking about our experiences with bad listeners. So you guys really want to know this? This is confession morning here. No, it's not. What ticks you off most about bad listeners?
Not allowing you to get a word in. I had a few former coworkers like that, jeez. Yeah.
Well, you know, they're talking, they're getting their point across, and they just want to be heard.
I never listened. I was just there and pretending like I'm listening. I couldn't tell you what they said. The only time I paid attention, because one of them was a captain, was when he was giving us the brief. That's the only time. But otherwise, because that's important, huh?
Right.
Otherwise, I don't. The only time I listen to the senior cabin crew member too, because apparently they're born on the same month, the same day, is when she was giving the pre-flight brief. After that, don't ask me a thing she said. Done, confession, you know who you are.
Do you guys really want to know about my experiences with a bad listener? I had someone ask me for professional advice. There was a paper that that person was working on, and I obviously was experienced in that field more so than that person. And they came to me for my feedback, and there I am, having edited the paper, just looking at it, I'm like, this is, you know, this shouldn't be here. Why don't you put it in that way? And everything that I had to say to that person said back to me, no, but there was it's like every single thing that I said. So after a while, internally, I was like, well, why are you coming to me? And I clamped, I said, oh, that's the way you want it? Okay, fine. That's good. Yeah, take it. It's fine. Because if you're coming to me for my feedback, you ought to be able to listen to me when I give it, instead of wanting to have me validate what you were feeling in that moment, that your paper is that great. You asked me for feedback. I'm giving you genuine feedback. She didn't want to hear it. Yeah, I said she didn't want to hear it. And so I was like, okay, well, you know what? Yeah, not worth my time. You're obviously a bad listener because you really don't want to hear what I have to say if it doesn't validate what you're feeling. So I stopped.
So why come to you? At what point, how long did it take you to stop?
Oh, it was probably like a minute.
Okay.
Because I realized everything that I said, it was...
Excuse.
Yeah.
And trying to
justification.
Improve, yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, well, you really don't need my feedback. You just wanted me to rubber stamp what you did. Didn't do it.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. She shouldn't have come to you, because if you're telling her something to make, or if you're telling the person something, let me not her it to get Jamie in trouble.
No, we already did it 3 times, so might as well. Yeah.
Trees a charm, huh?
It was a long time ago.
Yeah, but if you're telling them something and they're not valuing your input, then you're right. Forget it. Don't come to me and ask me anything if you don't want to hear. That's why sometimes when they say people come and give you problems, don't give them advice, just listen.
Yeah.
Because I find we didn't take the advice when we get it, unless they ask, but it's not like they're going to take it anyway. So is it even worth giving them the advice? I don't know. Yeah.
Wow, hey.
All right, so Jamie, in your sparkly eyes, what traits qualify someone as a good listener?
I'm sorry, turn off the lights. My eyes don't sparkle normally. All right, yeah. All right, so what traits? You see, I picked up on what you said. You said sparkly eyes, and there I am. Isn't that obvious that I'm exemplifying it here? I'm listening. I'm able to pick up on the details of what you said and run with that. I think that is one of those things that makes somebody a good listener. Also, genuine interest in what's being said. Yeah. We've had those experiences when we've either been talking to some people, we've witnessed other people talking, and watched other people who should be listening, and it's like, you know, like they're not engaged. They're really not engaged. It communicates that they're not engaged. And hey, you know, it is what it is. If I'm not engaged, I'll just be like, I'm sorry, excuse me.
If you're not engaged and you're single.
You know, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about. I had
to put that in there.
You have to put that in there. I don't know. There are some situations where I say that, you know, like how I've seen on television where girls, if they're on dates, they have this call from this friend. It's like, call me in like 20 minutes. If it's going bad, I'll say I have an emergency.
Yeah, I've seen that.
There are times when I wish that I could set my phone to ring so that if I know I'm engaging with somebody and chances are it's going to go bad, I just go like, hey, my phone is ringing or whatever. Because honestly, have I done that in the past? I don't think my phone has ever actually rung. If I pick up the phone in your presence, I would assume that you would assume it's on vibrate. Would I lie to you to get away from the situation in which you're not listening and it's uncomfortable?
Dun, dun, dun.
I guess the world will never know.
So world, You will never know.
But I'm pretty sure some of you have already used this tactic. You have your phone, you realize what's going on. They're not interested in what you're saying. They just want to talk. And you, I'm sorry, excuse me, I have to take this. And you disappear never to come back. So those cell phones are actually a good tool.
Wow. The depths of communication.
I just gave you a tip, all right? I'm not going to charge you for it.
No, I'm not a bad listener. I listen, but I'm not hearing you, depending on the situation. Because when I'm in situations where everything is going to be my fault, I don't hear a thing you're saying. I literally shut down, but I'm there. But I'm good at it. I don't hear what you're saying.
Wait, this is where semantics comes into it, because I'm like, there's a difference between listening and hearing. I would say the opposite of what you said, because I would be like, I hear, but I'm not listening, if that makes sense. Because to me, to hear it means that it's in the background somewhere. And sure, I can make out that you're making a sound or whatever. But for me to really listen to it, it has to be active engagement on my part so that I'm actually trying to be in tune with what is being said. So I would say the opposite of what you said, meaning the same thing, which is, yeah, I can hear you, but I'm really not listening to you, if that makes sense.
Yep. So when the conversation comes up again, I have no file to pull because I was not listening to you.
Right. So do you guys think that you are bad listeners? Do you actually think, would anybody confess to being a bad listener? What does it mean to be a good listener? Honestly, I think in conversations, if you're going to be a good listener, if I were to come up with my own ratio, which is not official by any stretch of the imagination, I would say that you probably talk 25 to 40% of the time, but you listen more. So 60 to 75% of the time. And you'd be surprised, because when that happens, if you're engaging in conversation with someone and they feel like they're being heard, they'll actually like you. Now, you might not be paying attention, which is really bad. But if they feel like they're getting their point across, they'll say, oh, you're cool. I like talking to you.
You know, there are some people, right? When you get in that mode, they'd be like, are you listening to me? And you'd be like, But you'd be like, what? What did you just say? All I heard is, are you listening to me? Everything else, I do not know what you said.
Do you find that people think that when we listen to them, our body language has to reflect it? Because I joke all the time with the people who know me best and who talk to me. I have a way of listening without looking. And so I could be here, and it appears as though I'm not listening. And I don't know if it comes from my training in the classroom or what, because my students couldn't believe that when they were at the back of the classroom, I actually heard what they were saying when they were whispering. And I always said to them, I have very sensitive ears. So I hear a lot. By the way, yeah, I do.
Hear a lot. Be careful.
So, you know, it's like that. I say that my body language doesn't necessarily reflect that I'm listening, that I'm engaged, because I joke to people, with the people who are closest to me, I said, well, I don't listen with my eyes.
No, we shouldn't.
And so when I'm asked to repeat it, I repeat it. And it's like, oh, you were listening. I said, yeah, I'm listening. I can hear you.
As if I'm in the kitchen and I'm cutting something, you think I'm going to turn and keep cutting? I need my fingers, yo. I'm listening. But there are days when, I guess, people who are closest to you will know when you're not listening and you're just there. There's even sometimes my poor mom my mom tells me some stories. Yeah, I know I like to share. And sometimes I don't even know what she said. So I'm like, this story comes. Here we go again. Dun, dun, dun.
Wow.
Yes, mother.
Wow. Wow.
The truth shall set you free.
I think you're listening to too much Samaj. It worked for him. He's 2 years old. Pretends it's not to work for you with your mom.
No, he listens to everything.
All right, let's talk about the traits of a good listener. What are the traits of a good listener? What makes somebody a good listener in your book? Well, we have a list of them here. Not talking when others are speaking. Does that make you a good listener?
Do you think even saying is a bad thing? Because should you be like totally silent when somebody's talking, like silent, like pin drop, ping?
I'll tell you what, and it's interesting to me, this split in it, and I don't know if it comes from my training, because God knows I've had a lot of experience in different things. I don't know. Yeah, baby face. I'm kidding. But hey, no, it's interesting to me because take the work that we do, for instance. Because of the nature of the work that we do, I would say, if you listen to the clips, you have to listen. And so, okay, let me use another example. In church, the sermon used to be broadcast, right? And the preacher's obviously on the pulpit, he has a mic, he's saying whatever, and sometimes all you're hearing is yes, and you can't really concentrate on the message. So in cases like that, where it's going to be out there, it's going to be streamed, whatever, I would say limit those, let that person come through. If it's ordinary conversation and you want to hit me or whatever, or talk, and you need reinforcement, it'll be like, yeah, oh, yeah, you know, it's a different kind of vibe. And it changes depending, but come on, we've all seen those noisy conversations that, you know, you hit the play button back and it's like, what on earth? What cacophony is that? I don't know.
Now, Jamie, make me think I'm one of those loud church members. Confession again.
I made you think that? How am I so powerful?
Yeah, I like to confess, don't I? Yeah.
It's just what it is. I think it's my own experience having to be an editor, because I used to edit clips and so on and all that. And sometimes I'm listening to them back and I go, but I can't make out what's being said here because it wasn't as quiet. And so that's just me. Doesn't mean it works for everybody. Some people like that. Some people love the energy and the hype. You're not going to get that really from me because I'm just reserved, right? So, but if it's your energy, go with it. People will react to that.
You sound like an Eldorado 21-year-old. You're reserved.
I am reserved.
Why am I talking about rum on this Good Morning?
I don't know. You see, I didn't even know it was wrong. There you go. That's how reserved I am. All right. All right. So letting others know, again, the traits of a good listener, letting others know that you're listening through facial expressions and verbal sounds. So is one of those things that makes it okay. Right? So you can say you can say I think if you, I'm the kind of person who's generally like, when I'm listening, like I'm totally zoned in. So in those moments, I tend to be very, very quiet. I'm just like, and if you look at me, I guess you'd see that. But again, you can't talk when one person is trying to get the attention of 100. You're not going to be, you're going to miss vital information. So it's just the way that I am. No. You know, it doesn't mean it's right or wrong then I'm coining words here. Don't say that I said that. I know English. But seriously, you know, doesn't mean it's more correct or not, right?
And Jamie, you said this one, being able to repeat what others have said, practically word for word. You're not looking at them, you're listening. So he's not listening to you with his eyes. He may not have the facial expression, and he may not say that, like Hortensia loves a bad Because that, as you rightfully said, it makes people feel like you're being listened to. Once you hear me say, I'm listening to you. If you hear me say nothing, she's gone, so gone.
All right. we got it. So yeah, I think those moments and conversations are important because I treat them as a hook. It's almost like you're fishing. And when somebody says something that's interesting, they might continue to move, but you've actually hooked the conversation in your mind at that point, and you say, oh, that's an interesting place to jump off of. So you hold on to it until you're ready to revisit it. And there are those types of things in conversations.
Remember the last time we had a conversation and you said the fowl has 2 feet? Yeah.
Precisely. It's those sorts of things. All right, so good listening is much more than being silent while the other person talks. To the contrary, people perceive the best listeners to be those who periodically ask questions that promote discovery and insight. So again, discovery and insight, it's like, maybe I have a plan. This is my plan. I want to talk to you about this. But you say something that's so interesting that I ought to be able to, I'm not going to show you that I'm listening, but it's just so interesting to me. I think maybe we need to know more about that. That's my hook. What can you tell? You know, those sorts of things. That's the hook, right? And it keeps the conversation dynamic, to be honest. Otherwise, it would be rigid. It's like, this is my plan. This is going down. This is it. Oh, you know, imagine the pilot. It's turbulent here. We're not going to go around it. We're just going to go
through it.
Like,
We're just going
to. It doesn't work. Right? Doesn't work.
I saw something yesterday. My cousin sent me on TikTok. A passenger said he no longer trusts flight attendants, and that's why he's going to look out the window to make sure that the wings of the planes are on, because when we are going through turbulence, the flight attendant have this calm look on her face, like, okay, we'll all be fine. But he doesn't care, and he don't trust Uno. He don't trust flight attendant anymore because we could be dying, and then they just look like nonchalant, and that was me. Because once turbulence happened, passengers would look at me, and I would suddenly just look away, because I'm like, I'm not your savior now. Yes, I thought that.
I know we're not talking about this, but can somebody help me out here? Why? Help me.
Yeah.
Does it take a genius to even think that perhaps parachutes on commercial aircraft could actually save a life?
No, it's not going to work. Folks, imagine your exit is just like maybe a few windows up from the engine, for the big ones, the turbines. That thing is gonna suck you back. Parachutes are not good. Imagine all of you is bumping into each other in the air, not knowing how to use a parachute. You're gonna die.
You get the training.
Trust a former flight attendant.
You get the training.
No. How can you train somebody to use a parachute in 10 minutes or in 20 minutes prior to takeoff? You're trying to get them to put their bags away, sit down.
This is where we're gonna have this interesting conversation. And although we're listening to each other here, so let's talk about it. When it comes to that, I'm thinking, you see that little thing that nobody reads? that tells you what to do, that you say, please read your whatever. That is important there. You see those demonstrations that you guys do?
Don't pay attention.
That is also important there. By the way, there was this aircraft model that I saw that effectively had the cabin being able to separate from the plane and parachute down to the sea and float.
That's something
That's
new.
going to be more expensive. I saw it about 2 to 3 years ago, and I don't know if it's in production. I wish it were, because again, I believe that these things save lives. So
yeah, that sounds good.
But you know, what do I?
Everybody jumping out because we're gonna say you're supposed to leave your bags behind, and I know y'all ain't gonna leave them bags behind. Y'all coming up with them bags. Y'all coming up with them phones, and instead y'all save them phones so that we can be found. Y'all gonna be selfieing in the water. That's not gonna work. Yeah, I always said, right? Oversharing again. I was gonna go outside. I said, come, y'all come. I was gonna say, who pushed me in the water? Y'all come. Because I was not staying in that plane for die.
Hashtag diary of a mad former flight attendant. All right, moving on.
I must die. What people don't want to leave their bags? No, I'm gonna be outside. Meet me outside. Yes.
All right. So continuing, what are the traits of a good listener? Providing your input.
Yeah.
So you're
both provide input,
which we kind of just did in this demonstration. That was very much a moment of improv here.
And responding constructively. As I said, meet me outside.
Sounds like fighting words for Tensia. Sounds like fighting words. Meet me outside.
No, but I'm not gonna stay in there and they're gonna want to be grabbing all their bags and getting things that we can't use on the water. That don't make no sense. That don't make no sense. No. Imagine we were to tell persons if we were supposed to be going and landing in the water, put on some extra clothes. So imagine everybody taking out their carry-ons and putting on clothes. Do you imagine how chaotic that cabin's gonna be? So that's why I gotta be met outside and call them outside. Come on, come on. Sit on sail, place feet outside, inflate life jacket, jump in the water, swim, let's go.
Wow. Wow.
Yes,
those
meet
scenarios.
me outside. Yeah.
Well, I guess in that case, you just make sure that you're sitting next to the exit. Although we've heard of stories where
people
you're
sit
not
there
at the exit, but you actually get sucked out of a plane through your window. So
boy, in them bad cases of turbulence. But I love turbulence. Yeah, I'm not afraid of turbulence. My favorite part of flying, y'all. You.
Again, diary of a former flight attendant. We'll be back.
Mad one.
I changed it. You're smiling now. You see, this is it.
I always smile. I don't take things serious.
This is a dynamic conversation. You see what this is going on? I'm listening, looking at the cues.
Yeah, but
I'm going to cue you right now.
It's had its fun. I enjoyed passengers. I enjoyed spending time with you. Even those that, as Jamie said, didn't read the card or didn't pay attention. Yeah, I was just gonna meet you. Was gonna meet me outside. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Meet us after this. We'll be back in a moment.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom. it.
An exotic experience.
What will it take to grab the attention of someone with the power to make your dream come true? 7 hopeful entrepreneurs in search of the finances necessary to take their ideas to the next level.
This is their lives, right? This is their business.
4 savvy business owners ready to make a pragmatic investment.
You can't help people if you can't help yourself. First you make the dollar and you give the dollar.
Why you take your business offline?
I really feel that you need to do a little bit more research.
Very knowledgeable. Super knowledgeable.
You have a great idea and a great concept. I think you'd be snapped up by Disney.
If you have a job someplace, it means that if something is not working, you can walk away.
Who will invest?
Let's do this. Let's do this.
Thank you. And who will be sent home with nothing? I am your host, Kevin Hope.
Yo, what up? It's your boy and Richie right here at Studio 327. I'm here to give you the promo that you guys need because this is something special for St. Kitts. I'm telling you, tune in to Good Morning SKN, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on YouTube, Facebook, and on Moment Channel 4. Also, I realize nobody else is doing this. Follow the Good Morning SKN Instagram at Good Morning SKN and the Studio 327 Inc. Instagram. Follow us on YouTube and Facebook. This is pretty long, but follow us and yeah.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. One of the most fascinating things about history is that no matter how much of it you learn, there are still plenty of facts, events, and stories that we have yet to discover. Yes, every day we learn something new. So in this segment, we will be learning about some lesser-known historical facts. So let's begin. What about history we don't know that we need to know?
A lot.
Dinosaurs once roamed the earth.
Maybe not that far back, but there's a lot.
Turkeys were once worshipped like gods. Why? Because of the meat? Because of the tail? Because of the cluck?
It's got to be more than that.
These big birds were heralded by the Mayan people as vessels of the gods and were honored as such, so much that they were domesticated to have roles in religious rituals. They still kill them.
Yes, but they're still worshipped like gods.
So when they open that tail, it's like, my God, no, it's a turkey. Cook it for Thanksgiving.
This almost seems sacrilegious, doesn't it? Honestly, it really sort of does.
I got a look there, right? I don't want that look again. Jimmy, I think I got one of your looks. I got a neck turn and a side eye.
Oh, you thought those were reserved for me? I see.
See, I was leaving your role alone, but I just got in your role right there. This is a pretty turkey, though. He's got all the colors of the rainbow. And then some. Gobble, gobble.
It's amazing that they were worshipped. Okay.
Yeah.
The Olympics used to award medals for art.
Why shouldn't they be awarded, though?
Art, though. Yeah. This is an interesting fact. Art.
Artisthebomb.com.
From 1912 to 1948, the Olympic Games held competitions in the fine arts. Medals were given for literature, architecture, sculpture, painting, and music. Before the art events were eventually removed 151 medals were awarded. This is
Why
quite
they
interesting.
remove it? That's not cool. It's literature. You're doing something. You're writing. Oh, look at that. Sweet.
It's great. So if you want to know more about why that category was removed, then you can look it up. It's part of your history.
Maybe they can put it back into. Imagine being awarded an Olympic medal. Some of these nice houses that we have now in St. Kitts. I'm wondering sometimes if there's this one particular house in Frigate Bay, Jamie. I don't know if you're familiar with it. There's this extra piece just hanging out, and I'd be like, how is its thing up? It doesn't have a support pole. I'm like, how is this thing up? And then I see there's one now on, if you're in Calypso Bay and you look up on the hill, there's a new one building again, and I'm like, how is it staying outward like that? They need their medals. Give it to them while they're alive. Bring it back.
Design.
Olympic Committee, I admonish you to bring it back.
Well, I'm pretty sure they had their reasons for not doing it. So
I guess they probably figure it's not too much work.
I don't know. Again, it's in the history book, so at some point, yeah, we can find out more about it.
Using forks used to be seen as sacrilegious.
There's that word again. Wow.
See? So they use the fork too. Gobble, gobble, the turkey. I knew this. Look at that.
I don't think the two were linked. Other than
What do you
my
want to
reference to what is sacrilegious, I don't think that.
Sacrifice. Eat the turkey. When forks were invented in the 11th century in Italy, of course, we need those forks to twirl our pastas. They alarmed religious leaders. According to them, these spiked instruments were considered an offense to God. This was because they were considered artificial hands. But our hands have more space. The fork doesn't have much.
Well, would you look at that? In other words, you are replicating what God created naturally, and therefore it's offensive to him.
But forks have 4 prongs. We have 5 fingers.
This is very interesting. But it means then that before people actually used forks, and in some cultures they still do, they use their hands. And so
Indian culture, they still use their hands to eat.
I can kind of understand, not that I agree with it, but I can understand how they could perceive it that way, particularly as it was a new invention at the time.
All right. So I guess when they were in prosthesis, then you just tie a fork to your...
Well, would you look at that? Exactly, because we've developed since, right? So it's amazing.
Can't work. Fork wouldn't work.
Some of the times as you progress, you realize how absurd some of the initial arguments against something actually were. All right, Cleopatra was not Egyptian.
She wasn't? So how did she get there? She traveled.
Despite what you may have heard, Hortensia, the last queen of Egypt, wasn't born in Egypt.
See?
Cleopatra VII was Greek.
Didn't I say she traveled? Yes. She wasn't on the ship with Jonah, y'all, but she got there, yeah. Okay, I'm getting too much side eyes the next time. See? She traveled. Leo. Listen, some people really made some big impacts in this world from centuries before, you know. So imagine she's not even Egyptian, and everything we hear about Cleopatra, and we associate her with Egypt until today. I'm knowing she's Greek.
Well, she was born in Greece, but
everything Cleopatra, Egypt. Cleopatra, Egypt. You hear about King Tut, you think Egypt. Is he really Egyptian, y'all? We need to find out. No, Jamie, this is some serious vibes. And see, she was Cleopatra VII. How many more Cleopatras there were? The world may never know. So Pope Gregory the Fourth declared a war on cats. Jesus.
Thank you, Pope Gregory. I feel you.
Oh, Pope Gregory IV declared war on cats in the 13th century. He said that black cats were instruments of Satan. We bind you. Because of this belief, he ordered the extermination of these felines throughout Europe. However, this plan backfired as it resulted in an increase in the population of plague-carrying cats.
Well, here's something to bite you in the hiney. Because you've got a plan that you implement. And then after having implemented it, you've got another thing coming because you fail to realize that everything was connected and the cats were actually helpful.
Wow.
and not as hurtful as he perceived them to be.
But you hear me say play carrying cats and not play carrying rats? Forgive me. I guess I'm so obsessed with the cats. I said play carrying cats, but it's play carrying rats. So don't kill what can help you. Be careful what you do.
Wow,
Okay.
this is so very interesting.
I think this Pope needed to go to Turkey, get his hair transplanted.
You can't, you can't even say. This is a case of
Got a whole muff and a bang.
proverbially biting the hand that feeds you,
Yep.
but definitely, yeah.
Kill off the cats, get the
This
rats.
is so very interesting. I was joking around about cats, by the way. They're not my favorite animals, but yeah, I wouldn't kill them.
No, but cats are annoying. They have 2 of them in the back of our yard. Every night, it's I was like, go home. And you can hear them like boxing behind there, like, I was like, what is going on? Can you go home? Stop.
Do you really want to know what's going on? All right.
They're having cat war.
I have a theory. Mary really had a little lamb. This is not the theory, but this is where I'm going to. Okay, Mary really had a little lamb.
Okay.
Everyone knows the nursery rhyme. Mary had a little lamb, but you probably didn't know this was based on a true story. Her name was Mary Sawyer. She was an 11-year-old girl who lived in Boston and one day was followed to school by her pet lamb. All right, Jamie had a little dog. Jamie really had a little dog, and it
that
followed him to school and got run over by a car.
Jamie got the dog. Jamie, maybe a dog could be in a Christmas song. Jamie's dog got run over by a car on his way, following him to school. Because you know, like a whole Santa
got run over by a reindeer?
Yeah.
It's all right. Nothing happened to the lamb, thankfully, and we were singing about it. We've been singing about it for generations. We never thought that Mary was actually a real person because we were too young to even consider it.
Yeah.
So.
Look at Mary.
And its fleece, by the way, doesn't seem to be white as snow, so that seems to be...
Well, that's according to that illustration. You know, you may never be able to tell, you know.
You know how when you read books, they embellish the real-life story? I imagine this is potentially what could have happened with Mary and her lamb. And by the way, how could we not name the pet lamb? It was a pet after all. What do you think she called it? Lamb?
Lammy.
I don't think she did.
Lammy.
So can somebody tell me what the name of Mary's pet lamb actually was?
Lammy.
Because we're talking about history. Let's complete the story. Let's get it right.
Lammy, I say. Go with Lammy. I'm sure his name was Lammy.
Well, luckily it wasn't Lamb Chop.
Why you gotta go kill the lamb now?
I'm not doing that. It's a pet. Lamb Chop and Sherry. Lamb Chop's play along.
Oh
Remember that guy? Some of you actually remember Lamb Chop, right?
Jesus.
Look it up. Great little puppet.
Oh, Oxford University is older than the Aztec civilization. Really? So that means Oxford came from... Who's older? The Aztecs or the Mayans?
Again, you're going to send me to the history books?
I have to Google this to see who's older. Teaching at Oxford University started in the distant year of 1096, whereas the Aztec Empire only started in the 13th century with the founding of the city-state in 1325. Wow. So Oxford is really history. Like the dictionary, that's why I guess everything is just...
Oxford University.
Oxford. Looking like Hogwarts. But yeah. I think they model Hogwarts off of Oxford since it's like Brit. I think that was in our mind. Since she's a British writer, she just modeled it and she just changed it up. Yeah. But I think that's what she meant.
And here we go. Pineapples were once so pricey, people rented them. And why are you going to rent a pineapple?
I know.
For decorative purposes? Aye.
Because pineapples go bad. So when you rent them and you eat them, how do you pay
Well, no,
for the
you
rent?
don't eat them because you have to return them. That's the whole point of it. Right?
These
So
must
you
be
rent
porcelain pineapples.
The display. Let's see. For centuries, the fruit was a real luxury available only to the wealthiest. Before selling them for consumption, pineapple merchants rented pineapples to people who couldn't afford to purchase them. Those who rented would take the pineapple to parties to carry around and show off their apparent ability to afford such an expensive fruit. Here's my pineapple.
The human race
love.
has been a fraud for centuries.
My pineapple. Do you see my pineapple? This is amazing. I just brought it because I know that you guys can't appreciate it. So I want to show you what it looks like.
You see, this is what I'm saying, keeping up with the Joneses. You know you got to carry back that pineapple, but you acting like it's yours. And the fraudulency began.
Wow.
Imagine.
I will never look at pineapples the same way.
No. I'm going to wonder how many persons rented my pineapple before it got to St. Kitts, especially those that were not
Not now.
farmed in here.
They're no longer renting them, Cortesia.
Wow.
They were actually that pricey.
I know. Prickly fruits. Alarm clocks made a whole profession obsolete. Do they? Jamie still got some on his fence.
The clocks, Cortesia, the actual alarm clocks.
I know.
Not the phony ones.
Those
with
are phony.
feathers.
Those are the real ones. Those
Not
boys,
the
those
phony
bad
ones
boys
with-
been around forever.
Not the phony ones with feathers and wings.
They ain't phony at all. So before alarm clocks became available to most people, they were professional called knocker-uppers. Professionals called knocker-uppers, whose job was to knock on people's windows to help them wake up at the right time.
Who did this? Who put this together? This gives a whole new meaning to the phrase knocked up.
Knocked up, exactly. Ooh, so if they came to wake up a single person, la 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 la. Yeah.
Who did this? I'm scarred. Can somebody help me out here?
Professional knocker-uppers.
Like, seriously, like, hey, you were knocked up.
Yeah. Open, I'm here. It's time to get knocked up. Ooh, okay.
What is going on here?
Oh, he's got a
Well,
manner
hey,
too.
I mean, if you get knocked up with that, something will
Look
definitely
at
be
him.
wrong.
He looks very stately, Jamie. He's got on his hat, his
Wow.
hand in his pocket, and he's precisely hitting the door at the right place to wake up the individual in the
Knocker upper. I
house.
wonder how much he was paid to get people knocked up. In any event, I think that we understand that the professional, though it seems to be obsolete now, has evolved to another kind of knocking up.
Maybe that's why we go and pound on people's doors now. Well, knock on people's doors, as we would say in GT. Or we would say rap. So a rap on your door.
Who knew? All you needed was a collection of feathery animals on your wall or outside on the street.
Professional
Waking you
knocker-upper.
up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I just hope he got his severance too, since he lost his job, you know?
Guy, I'm sorry. They needed to come up with another. I swear to you, that term,
Knocker-upper.
obviously, no. There has to be some link somewhere or another deprecated meaning of it.
Up, wake up,
Wow.
wake up. Professional knocker-uppers air.
Finally, the Eiffel Tower was originally made for Barcelona.
Why did it end up in France then?
Gustave Eiffel initially presented his design to Barcelona, but they rejected it, worried it would be an eyesore. Oh, I'm sure that they have since regretted it.
I know.
So Gustave pitched it as a temporary landmark for the 1889 International Exposition in Paris, and it's been there ever since.
And it has millions of visitors every day. You wait in that line for 3 to 4 hours to get atop of that thing, just to come down in 10 minutes because up top is too full, and then, yeah, you don't want to, that part. I stood there for 4 hours, and the queue just keep moving.
Wow. That's long.
Yeah. Then they have this big industrial elevator that can take up at least, I think, 50 or more at one time. And then when you get to there, you have to wait for the smaller one if you intend to go all the way to the pinnacle of the Eiffel Tower, which I did. And I like looking down, and that one is glass, so you can look down as you go up.
Really?
I'll
Well,
do it
clearly
again.
you did. Oui.
Yeah.
Oh, well, no, that sounds wrong. Just say.
But that's how they say it. Yeah. Yeah. I had French bread. I had everything. Yeah. Hey. You know, I have a video. When I was walking back, my cousin went to dinner. My shoes was hurting my foot. And then there's this Frenchman said something in French, and ooh la la, my cousin just laughing all the way, you know. Because he's basically like he's feeling sorry for me because of how I'm walking shoes. Eventually, I just took it off and walked on the cool ground. I was like, I'm not about
I
killing
think
my
you need to
foot.
change the name of the bread that you had, because it should now be Spanish bread, given everything that you know. All right, ladies.
Spanish, you lost.
Ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, everyone, we'll be back in a moment.
Dreamy Decor specializes in flowers for all events, from birthdays to weddings and any other special occasion. What's a better way to express to the people you love than by providing the finest selection of beautiful flowers and gifts. So when you think of flowers, think of us, Dreamy Decor.
Yeah.
An exotic experience.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
What will it take to grab the attention of someone with the power to make your dream come true? 7 hopeful entrepreneurs in search of the finances necessary to take their ideas to the next level.
This is their lives, right? This is their business.
4 savvy business owners ready to make a pragmatic investment.
You can't help people if you can't help yourself. First, you make the dollar and you give the dollar.
Why you take your business offline?
I really feel that you need to do a little bit more research.
Very knowledgeable. Super knowledgeable.
You have a great idea and a great concept. I think you'd be snapped up by Disney.
If you have a job someplace, it means that if something is not working, you can walk away.
Who will invest?
Let's do this. Let's do this.
Thank you. And who will be sent home with nothing? I am your host, Kevin Hope.
For this segment of Motivating Factor, Katensi and I will be looking at an inspirational short film by Heart-Touching Films, and we've decided to share that with you. Take a look.
I hope it doesn't make me cry, because it says heart touching. Have your tissues, have tissues on standby, guys, because you know I cry for everything.
ฉันกับลูกและสับปะรดฉันไม่ได้เรียนหนังสือไม่รู้ว่าต้องพูดต้องสอนแบบไหนฉันรู้แค่ว่าต้องทำให้ดูให้เขาเห็นเป็นตัวอย่าง
เป็นไงล่ะ อร่อยกว่าไอติมอีกใช่ไหม
จ้าแม่ น่าทำขายนะแม่เนาะ ไอติมสับปะรดนะคะไอติมสับปะรดนะคะ ไอติมสับปะรดนะคะ ไอติมสับปะรดนะคะ แม่ ทำไมไม่มีใครซื้อเลยอ่ะ
งั้นลองไปดูที่ตลาดว่าเขาขายกันยังไง
บิ๊กวิจ้ากล่องละ5 3กล่อง10จ้า
หมูปิ้งจอมทัพหมูปิ้งอร่อยครับหมูปิ้งจอมทัพจ้า
พี่กล่องละ5นะคะ3กล่อง10จ้า
สับปะรดไหมคะสับปะรดทีละอะไรคะไม้ละ5 บาทค่ะ3ไม้10 บาทนะคะสับปะรดไหมคะ
พอเห็นเขาได้สังเกตได้ลองทำเอง วันนี้ฉันสบายใจแล้ว ที่เห็นเขาทำได้แบบนี้ และมั่นใจว่า วันข้างหน้าถ้าไม่มีฉัน เขาจะยืนได้ด้วยตัวเขาเอง
อัชราภูลสวัสดิ์ได้รับทุนจากโครงการสารรักจนจบปริญญา
Just
ตรี
like that, we are back. And by the way, clearly she was able to afford pineapple. That was great.
Yeah, we just had a talk on pineapple, how expensive it was back then.
And it gave her the idea to market that product. I love the way the mother turned it around. It's like noticing that she felt left out because she couldn't afford those products, which were really not good for her anyway. And then she turned it into something that made her feel special. And then the daughter had the idea to sell it, and so the mother encouraged that.
Yeah. And she also told her, like, she felt defeated because, as you see, she came home with her watered down ice creams, and her mother said, you know, they're laughing at me. So her mother said, go and learn how to sell. So you see, she walked around, she learned how to sell. She just followed the other vendors. Nice, sweet, juicy pork. You see, she said she had a tagline for her pineapple ice cream, and it worked. Business is booming.
Yeah, business.
She even got a bike.
Booming that she got a bike. Exactly what I was going to say. So it's quite interesting. Quite interesting. So amid all of that, right? Amid all of that, the concept of raising a child really is not about teaching them how to be a good child.
Yeah.
But it's really about teaching them how to be a good adult.
Yeah.
And so
exactly.
Decision-making skills. She learned that because she was encouraged by her mother to solve problems on her own.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, that's one of the things that the mother said in the video. She wanted to teach her that. And so sending her to the market to see why things weren't working for her. It's great.
You know, my aunt, when I was younger, a kid in Ghana, she had a little bit of hard times, and she would make fudge, and she'll give me to take them to school and sell them. And then she said, I was the only niece that came back with everything sold.
Okay.
And I did not realize, funny enough, that eventually I like sales. I got into sales and I'm good at it. But when I look back at my younger days, I'd be like, look, I was put in that position from since then.
Yeah.
So that's why the skill came easy to me. But as my aunt, even today, she tell me, you know, you're the only one who used to sell out all the fudge. Your sister used to either bring back most of it or eat out the rest. So, yeah, sister, she said that about you.
So, guys, internally, we can expect to have pineapple ice cream from Cortencia later in the week, or at least early next week.
I can't afford pineapple. That is an expensive luxury.
We're going to see your marketing skills, Cortesia.
Yeah.
Aha. Boy, this is really interesting.
And I'll make sure I have a new cooler, though. Yeah. And then I'll get a bigger bicycle. My bicycle will have an engine. So, police, you'll have to give me a break on my electronic bicycle because I need to go further.
Wow,
I need to make
are
money.
competing with an 8-year-old girl halfway around the world, Cortesia? Seriously? You want a bigger bike?
She has motivated me to do things. She has motivated me to move and sell my pineapple ice cream.
And that's the point of it. So the question is, are you guys now motivated, having seen that, having realized that you can come from a situation where you're lacking things, using the resources that you have to get what you want and to work hard at things. And not only work hard, work smart, because she was working hard. She was standing there with a cooler until it ran down, the ice ran down. And then her mother encouraged her to work smart. And she did work smart.
We have to realize too that sometimes shouting at the kids and telling them, oh, you didn't do this and you didn't do that. Her mother was so patient with her and so kind. And basically, as we said, guided her to, okay, this is what you didn't do, go and learn. And come back, she got a better perspective of how those folks managed to sell their stuff out. And she did the same. And she became a winner and well known.
Oh yeah, definitely. So well known, as you rightly said. I mean, the children were flocking to her after that. So hey, great motivation for me. Hopefully, great motivation for you.
But Jamie, you know, coming up in Ghana, when you go to the market, you have like 10, 20 meat vendors competing on the same strip. Now I understand why they were shouting over each other. The mere fact that their stuff was gonna not sell or spoil by the end of the day, because I hated that smell. But come and get your juicy beef here at such and such a talk, and they're over each other, you know, literally. And I appreciate that. I'm glad I grew up where I grew up. I like the vibe.
Juicy meat here.
Yeah, come and get your juicy meat. And when it's Christmas time, your beef for your pepper pot, nice and soft. Oh, you know the beef will cook nice and soft. Listen, I enjoyed. Oh, come and get your callaloo.
That's marketing for you, Cortezia. That's marketing at the very basic level, rudimentary level. That's it. You're at the market. You've got to sell your product. You've got to make sure that people want it. And you rightly said you learned that lesson from a young age. The girl that we saw in the video learned that lesson from a young age. But you're never too old to learn valuable lessons, and you're never too old to be inspired by people of any age. And that girl in that video definitely inspired me. I think her mother was an instrumental part of that inspiration, because she took a back row seat, but she was guiding everything.
And do you realize how it started out? The mom says she doesn't have an education, and that proves you do not have to have an educational background to educate someone on something.
Of course. Of course. You don't. Yeah, that's it. Exactly. I keep saying it. I say it time and time again. I think humility is one of those things that, dare I say, it's dying. It seems as though, I mean, I've said it here before, that a lot of people tend to weaponize education as if I have it and you don't, and so that makes me special.
Exactly.
And I hate that. I don't like it at all.
We don't like it at all.
Real education should teach you to be humble, and in being humble, you would appreciate how you can connect with other people and learn lessons from people instead of trying to whip them with whatever it is that you think you've got in your head. It's ridiculous to me. I don't like it. And clearly, the mother, as you rightly said, she said she didn't have a formal education to speak of, but the lesson that she imparted to her child, and the people who captured that lesson in video form to share it with everybody else now, so that we are able to share it with you, also did a very good thing. So you can learn from anybody at any time, just about anything, if you're open to it.
Exactly. So live humble. And with that said, stay tuned. Much more after this short break. Are you enjoying us today or what? I had to ask that question, you know?
no cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
Dreamy Decor specializes in flowers for all events, from birthdays to weddings and any other special occasion. What's a better way to express to the people you love than by providing the finest selection of beautiful flowers and gifts? So when you think of flowers, think of us, Dreamy Decor.
各位朋友，大家好。Greetings, my lovely people. I'm Chantel, residing in Taiwan. 12 hours time difference. It's nighttime here, morning time in SK. I'm busy and on the go. However, I always manage to keep up to date with what's happening in SK. All thanks to Good Morning SKN. Good morning SKN. Ciao, bango!
Good morning, SKN. This is Lyrical. I just want to say blessings to you. There are a happy place in the life if you live in there. A happy place in the life if you live in there. Cause them at a happy place in the life. And they can't change. And they just come out here to do right. So whether day or night, they will never ever change. Blessings, blessings, and blessings.
Guess what, guys? It's that time to let you know what is happening. So the Keon Church of God will be hosting its 2023 Believers Convention under the theme Faithfulness in All That. Oh my gosh. Faithfulness is all that matters. Why am I thinking in all things there's faithfulness? So faithfulness is all that matters. So this week-long event started on Sunday, the 19th March, and will culminate on this Sunday, the 24th March. It starts at this Saturday. What's wrong with me? Why am I belonging to People's Convention? It will culminate this Saturday, the 24th of March. It starts at 7:30 p.m. daily, and it is held at the St. Mary's Park in Keon. So Reverend Carl Johnson from Jamaica is the honorary guest speaker. If you're interested, go out this week until Saturday. Yes, until Saturday, not Sunday, guys. So after Saturday, cut. Regular church on Sunday, to join the Keon Church of God for their Believers Convention. The Intellectual Property Office of, oh my gosh, I'm too happy
it's
now.
Right on Saturday, isn't it,
happy.
Cortese? You're very happy today. And by the way,
happy.
I'm sure the Keon Church of God wouldn't mind seeing you on Sunday either.
Exactly. So I'll show up for regular church. Praise the Lord.
All right, here we go. So here's what else is happening. The Intellectual Property Office of St. Kitts and Nevis is giving 4 women in St. Kitts and Nevis the chance to have one of their trademarks registered free of all IP SKN costs in honor of World IP Day 2023. Here's how you enter. Post a video less than 1 minute on Facebook explaining how innovation and creativity accelerate your brand. Tag the Intellectual Property Office of St. Kitts and Nevis Facebook page and use the hashtag. Here's the hashtag, Woman and IP SKN. That's Woman and IP SKN. Like the Intellectual Property Office of St. Kitts and Nevis Facebook page as well. The deadline for submissions is the 28th of March. It's right around the corner. 28th of March, right around the corner.
Right around the corner. Free chess training for women and girls 8 years and older. So the Queen's Gambit Challenge Caribbean Edition is a free chess crash course for English-speaking Caribbean females 8 years and older who are interested in learning how to play chess. So one-hour lessons will be held on Saturdays and Sundays over the span of 10 weeks, so 19 hours in total. The courses start from April 1st, 2023. No, we're not fooling you. It does start on April 1st. And it will culminate in an online chess tournament on June 4th, 2023, with prizes for the top 3 placements in each category. Best attendance and most lessons completed. You must be at beginner chess level and from the Caribbean to participate. Registration deadline March 27th, 2023. So visit the St. Kitts and Nevis Chess Federation's Facebook page for registration details. Remember, it starts on April the 1st. No foolery. That's the truth.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That, definitely interesting. Well, they all are actually, but that one, definitely interesting. All right, so this is the time of day when we get to say thank you before we say goodbye. So thank you for joining us today for another edition of GMSKN. As a matter of fact, who wants to say this with me? Because I believe that I've been saying this now for over a year, nearly 300 episodes. And I almost believe that some of you can actually give the outro that I give. So if you want to do that, because some of you might be saying it by heart, why don't you send me a video? That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? Maybe I'll play it for you so that I can get a break once or twice from saying the same thing, although I do it differently, depending on what's going on. Yeah, so you can try that. Can we do that? Can we ask for videos for the outros? Can I get a green light? Okay, I got the green light. Great. It was yellow for a bit, but yeah, I got the green light. All right, so thank you for joining us today for another edition of GMSKN. Tune in daily to find a little bit of everything for all of you.
Yep.
Get your friends and family members to watch. Well, that's important, isn't it?
Yeah.
And of course, you follow us on our social media platforms, including Facebook and YouTube at Studio 327 Inc. and on Instagram at Good Morning SKN. It's the name of the show, so you can't forget that. And also, Studio 327 Inc. pops right back up with our website. It's www.studio327inc.com. There you'll learn more about Good Morning SKN and Studio 327, just in case you forgot the name. Right?
Yep, indeed, indeed, indeed. Oh my gosh. And should I take over now? I don't think I should take over now. I really enjoyed today, though. I enjoyed Elmo. I enjoyed learning about the weather. I enjoyed the common sense is involved in being a meteorologist. Yeah, I enjoyed it all. And you know what I found out too? I never knew the buoys had sensors in them to send information back to the Met Office. Y'all, I learned that last year's night. Oh, proud of me, learning something new every day. So leave us a comment and let us know what was your favorite part of today's Thursday show. And see you tomorrow on Friday. Yes, it's the party day, the last day of the work week. Then we get a break. Yeah. So see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. and you'll wake up bright and early in the morning. Even if the rooster crows, don't hit it with a shoe. Grab your coffee, turn on your television or your device, or even at work, just go into the bathroom and sneak a few minutes with us right here at Good Morning SKN. We are looking forward to seeing you. Thank you for watching as usual and continue to subscribe. Remember, we have to get to that 1,000 mark before our 300th episode. Am I being ambitious here?
I think you are. And the bathroom, by the way, is all you, not me.
So yes, guys, sneak a little time or tell your boss just to allow you to switch us on. We'll lighten your day in the office. He'll be happy or she'll be happy they did that. So turn on, watch us. See you tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Make someone smile today. Be kind. Yeah. Bye.